Okay, this is a live stream for ZH. We are going to be priming up your next batch of models today. So that's it. Pretty boring overall, not exciting. So I don't know exactly what we're going to be painting in the next wave. Let's see, how many hours do we have left this month? And then we can actually prep a little bit, I guess, for next month. I think we have a lot because we missed last month. Yeah, 21 hours left. Okay. Well, we should at least prime. We'll prime this thing. And we'll actually, you know what? We'll prime this, but we're going to go for a lot of sisters. Let's just focus on a bunch of sisters. Let's say 20. I guess I'll need to sort them a little bit. So let's put all the bolter girls together. 8, 9, 10, that's a squad. Two.
Hey.
Hi, baby.
Did you already go?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, you picked the right choice.
Okay.
Knightdale was insane.
Oh, you mean just in general?
Yeah, like I have not seen that much traffic. I feel like since this time last year.
Wow.
Which makes me really nervous for everybody that was inside Target. Okay, well, hello.
Hello. You are technically broken. Let's see. I don't know what all of this is. What? These are some sort of flamer. Well, okay. So I'm not sure about these three. Let's do a little research. Two exorcists, 30 battle sisters, 10 seraphim, 4 cherubim, 5 pendant engines. Those are done. 3 celestians with the banners. Actually, more like 5 here. Pinchas squad with battle sister. And Retributors 12. Okay, so let's look up. So these are definitely sisters. These are the ones I have questions about. Okay, so these are also sisters. You, I'm not so sure about. You are an Imagifier. You are both Canonesses. You are a Repentance squad. No Hospitalers. Oh, those things are sick. Okay. So you're for the Retributor. Oh, we're going to paint you guys all at the same time anyway, so it kind of doesn't matter. Fucking stop. What the fuck is that? I don't want to try it free. I don't want to try it at all. Okay, so you're an HQ. Let's put you over here. All right, if I had to take a wild guess, it's probably like 3 squads of 5 or something. Or 4 squads of 5. Do that. I mean, I don't know if it matters, but I guess you guys are just, I don't know, sisters, I suppose? Does it really matter? It looks like they're all pretty much painted the same. It doesn't look like they have different cowls or anything. Oh, hold on. Dominions and Celestians. What the fuck are you? Alright, you know what? This is stupid. We're just going to paint you all at the same time. Or at least prime you all at the same time. You need to be rebased. A lot of you needs to be repaired. I see. That's how that goes. All right. Guess I should prep some of these first on sticks. Just,
the effect of anything that you're doing within painting ever, and I think people just aren't aware that you can use the same principles in dry brushing that you can do in normal painting. So at this point we can really start pulling some white into our mix. I'm using a particularly strong white here. Most whites aren't very strong, so if you need to use a higher proportion of white than you would expect, then that's probably why, particularly with a grey. Some greys are powerful, most greys are powerful, some greys are weak. That's a little bit more rare. So anyway, use my damping pad here. I'm really looking to only kind of lightly tint and hint at this lighter grey from the top corners. So wiped off the excess. And really carefully, we're going to introduce it to the model. Now, you're much better to wipe off too much rather than too little. That's what I get for trying to multitask, isn't it? But hopefully, as you can see there, if you get the right amount on the brush, not only is it almost possible to make a mistake, but you get these lovely, lovely soft blends. We've introduced the moisture from the dampening pad, and we can carry on going kind of directionally with these. If you want to highlight bottom edges, then I use a rolling motion. So to really, really exaggerate it, you're taking your brush and you're doing this. You're not just doing that, you're doing that. And what that will do is it'll really selectively, even with a huge fatty like the extra large, it will specifically hit specific edges. And you can do that to even highlight inside edges like that window there if you wish. So do that, and then if you wanted to do more overall shading, you can do that carefully with a stippling. Now obviously we've got a battle-worn mottled vehicle here, so if you want it to be super smooth, you can use the damping pad even more, use more stages. But I'm doing something pretty rough and ready that's going to look like it's led a pretty hard life, so that's the reason for going about it in that fashion. As a final stage, add a little bit more white. Now because I've already got paint in the brush at this point, I can just work it in, make sure you test it somewhere, and use it like that. And that is how you get super smooth blends, really fast edge highlights, and also a realistic kind of weather-beaten patina in one go. Or use the same brush, start to finish. We'll do that all over the model. It'll look amazing. Okay, so I'm actually going to ramp up the contrast a little more, I think. Taking the white in there, work a lot of it off, and then we're going to proceed with care here. So fingers to the back of the barrel. That will help you control your pressure. And I'm hitting this directionally. So from the direction that I imagine it's being lit from. And if I want, I can choose to pick out edges for the rolling technique.
Hello guys, welcome back to another makeup. Hold the base, add some super glue under the feet, and I place the model in position with its long feet that I bend under the base, literally clipping the figure together with the base. Focus in the right places and keeps the work fast. In this case, a little more than 3 hours from start to finish. Light is the main protagonist here, with a soft source in the volcanic bases that illuminates the figures from below, and stronger light sources in the flames from weapons and spells. Fire generates a very specific kind of light, with a lot of energy, movement, and contrast, that works with the nervous and rough general finish to create the illusion of that constant motion. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button to always know what happens on the channel. And if you want to help and support my work, check my Patreon page and join the community. You know that I like my gaming stuff to be indestructible. So here is a quick and easy approach to make cool and super tough lava bases. A realistic volcanic ground is very regular, and in general I hate to see a flat base that kills immediately the suspension of this glaze. So I start applying a generous coat of AK Interactive wet ground. This product is made to simulate a thick fresh mud, but it's also perfect to create the dense volume of magma. It has its own binder inside, so you don't need anything else to have a perfect bond with the plastic. Look at this beautiful texture. By the way, you can do something similar using a paste made with PVA glue and fine sand. The important part of the trick is just to create natural, irregular volumes of movement. Now I can paint the magma effect, starting with the cotton white to establish an extreme light value, followed by yellow ink to create a powerful, vibrant approach. I want to keep the light source in the center, so I add colors only on the outer rim of the bases. I close the effect with a gradient of orange and red. They are cool just like this. Here is an essential trick that will make the next special effect work 1,000 times better. I cover my bases with a thick coat of PVA glue and I let it dry. I'll explain the benefits of this layer while doing the next step. For a cracking earth effect of these bases, I usually use one of these two products. GW Border Perf has the benefit to be already in a dark black, but if I have more time, I prefer the size and the scale of the cracks made by the AK Interactive base. It's also much cheaper. I apply a very thick coat of the cracker effect. Don't be shy with this application, because in order to shrink and crack, it will lose almost all its volume. The layer of PVA glue has two functions, outer rim of the bases. I close the effect with a gradient of orange, similar using a paste made with PVA glue and fine sand. The important part of the trick is just to create natural, irregular volumes of movement. Now I can paint the magma effect, starting with the cotton white to establish an extreme light value, followed by yellow ink to create a powerful, vibrant approach. I want to keep the light source in the center, so I add colors only on the outer rim of the bases. I close the effect with a gradient of orange and red. They are cool just like this. Here is an essential trick that will make the next special effect work 1,000 times better. I cover my bases with a thick coat of PVA glue and I let it dry. I'll explain the benefits of this layer while doing the next step. For a cracking earth effect of gaming bases, I usually use one of these two products. GW Border Perf has the benefit to be already in a dark black, but if I have more time, I prefer the size and the scale of the cracks made by the AK Interactive base. It's also much cheaper. I apply a very thick coat of the cracker effect. Don't be shy with this application, because in order to shrink and crack, it will lose almost all its volume. The layer of PVA glue has two functions. It binds with the cracker paste, adding strength and structure from below, and more important, it will add its own shrinkage to the general effect, making the cracks larger and more uniform. The heat from the blow dryer puts everything in motion. Don't let the bases simply dry at room temperature. You need a good bunch of inks to make the layers seriously move. To close the work and make everything indestructible, I use my usual two-step combination of wet water and diluted PVA, applied in a thin layer with a brush. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check the video up here for all the details about my indestructible gaming base. Time to move to the models that I've already pinned and primed with black. In this project, value sketch is probably the most important step, the foundation on top of which I build all the next layers. I use white ink to establish an high contrast, genital light, but you can simply use a spray gun. All the credits for the term genital light goes to Roman Lappat from Massive Voodoo. I love to use this definition because it explains beautifully the whole process in a single word. Having the models without their base is a pretty important step, the foundation on top of which I build all the next layers. I use white ink to establish an high contrast, genital light, but you can simply use a spray can. All the credit on top of which I build all the next layer. And prime with black. In this project, the value sketch is probably the most important step, the foundation on top of which I build all the next layers. I use white ink to establish an high contrast, genital light, but you can simply use a spray gun. All the credits for the term genital light goes to Roman Lappat from Massive Voodoo. I love to use this definition because it explains beautifully the whole process in a single word. Having the models without their bases really helps to establish the perfect extreme angle from below. When I have a general grayscale, I push more the intensity and opacity of the white on the numerous plates, spraying a couple of extra layers in those spots. Here is the final effect, with these strong, interesting shadows on everything facing up. One of the key components of the artwork is its nervous and rough general sensation. So in this phase, I don't choose the airbrush to avoid the super smooth finish of its layer. I use few earthy colors from the camera set to mix my basic feature. You can find much more about this topic in this video up here. And I add a good amount of glaze medium and a bit of water to create a dense, heavy body wash. I apply this mix with a big brush and generous loose brush strokes, letting the underpainting and the transparent paint to do their job in expressing the volumes and their natural gradients. This approach is extremely forgiving and easy to modulate and control, making this step quick and totally stress-free. I was so into the flow that I forgot to put models on their baby. You can't trust the glue on giving models, so here is what I do. I drill a hole in the base, add some super glue under the feet, and I place the model in position with its long pin that I bend under the base, literally clipping the figure together with the base. I make this bond eternal, gluing the pin to the bottom with a good dose of super glue and activator. I continue setting the basic tones of the scheme using thick washes made with matte paint, glaze medium, and water. The time for this kind of applications is measured in seconds, and 2 coats are enough to obtain this beautiful result that lets you see transparency in the volume set by the value sketch, creating at the same time this matte and grainy sensation of soft and realistic materials. Plus, I don't need much saturation here because that will be added later with the color light from the palette. Same process for the bluish tone of the result schemes of the games. Here, I put color theory at work to build a solid ground for a cool speed painting trick that will reveal itself in the next stages. I mix my color starting from a pool of cold green, and, this is essential, I keep the turquoise on the very edge of turning into green. The only exception of the palette is made by WhiteMetalGames skin wash that I use straight from the bottle and in a single application to base the burnished art. Ironically, this color is really bad to paint skins, but great to paint old unpolished bronze or leather. To do this job, you can use a variety of paints. This is one of those cases where I simply personally like to do it. Here you can see the 4 tones of the palette used to set in place the basic use of the scheme. You can clearly see how the load of visual information of this intermediate stage is naturally greater than the sum of its parts. Before moving to flames and lights, I add a few touches of metallic paint using a simple mid-value silver and bronze. I use rough brush strokes, stippling and rubbing the side of the brush on the details to set a subtle physical texture of cast or wrought iron. I use yellow ink to base the flames. Here I switch to the airbrush because I want to produce quick smoothness for the fire and its light. I use the airbrush just for speed, and you can totally create the same effect using the brush. Check this video up here, where I do exactly the same, using only overlapping filters and glazes with the brush. In the first stage, I simply color the flames. I'm not really worried about the diffusion of their light, but I still let a bit of overspray to move around to start establishing their glow. I always think the light as a bubble centered around its source. This helps me to visualize the vectors coming out from the source and the tangent points on the model. Again, check this video up here for a full, super detailed explanation of this topic. With the same yellow, I establish the general tone of the bouncing light. The information of light and value is contained in the black and white sketch of the first step. Now I need only to give it a color sensation.
Hey fellas, welcome to another Kit Bash tutorial video. This time I'll show you how I converted the Primaris Lieutenant Amulius. The miniature was a event exclusive at Adepticon last year. He was for a limited order, or made to order, some time ago. Don't know if you can get him still. He usually comes without the common cloak. Most of the parts that I use are from the Shadow Spear box, especially from the Sniper Sergeant, and there's a bit of green stuff work involved. I'm not sure if I cover this in this part of the video or make an extra part later. We'll see how far we've come. So, let's see what parts we need for this. First, the miniature of Lieutenant Amulius would be a great start if you want to kit bash him, of course. I fixed the part with his feet and the base onto a wooden cube for easy painting later, and apart from the back and front of Lieutenant Amulius' body, you will need the front piece, the cloak, and the backpack, from the Shadow Spear box, easy painting later. And a pot.
What's up, guys? Zach SB is back from another video before, and this time we're going to be taking a look at the application process for true metals and the local liquid chrome. Alright guys, so this recipe is pretty much what I'm going to be using for the Necron tutorial, but I did want to just go over these particular products because they are a little bit tricky and have some interesting interactions with how we normally weather our metals. So I want to make sure you have all this information ready as we move into the Necron tutorial. So as you can see, I didn't use a primer on this metal, so no primer. I have my reasoning for that, and we'll go over that toward the end of the video when it becomes relevant. But what we're going to do is we're going to thin our true metal down with 1 part mineral spirits. So it's a wax-based product, but it thins with mineral spirits. So we're going to thin it down to the